All right, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah Chavez. I am the EEO officer and the coordinator in Ocean County. I have worked for the judiciary now for almost 18 years. I'm going to go over some JCC. Ooh, hold on. Make sure it's good. Apparently, I still have to admit people while I talk, so excuse the interruption. All right, so I'm going to go over some juvenile conference committee. They call it do's and don'ts, best practices. I'm going to tell you this. I leave the best practices up to the family part at the AOC. We're going to go over just basically the procedures. I'm going to tell you some things that we have done in Ocean to kind of discuss changes that have happened because of the pandemic, what's worked for us. I call them successful solutions to see what worked here, if it can be incorporated there. For those of you that have never taken a training from me, my style is really just feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question. I would much rather talk about the thing that you want to talk about than talk about the things that I have set to talk about. Because if you have questions, I want to make sure that I'm answering them. All right, so let's get going here. So first and foremost, the Juvenile Conference Committee, the JCC, is a volunteer committee that was created to incorporate balanced and restorative justice principles into the juvenile justice system when a new law took effect in August of 2002. So this guide right here is the current guide for JCC. Any members that are on, you should have a copy of this. If you don't, make sure you ask your JCC coordinator or your volunteer coordinator. But essentially, the guide for Juvenile Conference Committee, it was created in 2003. It was updated in 2005, updated again in 2007. It has not been updated since. We all know what happened after 2007 and how we had kind of a big shift in how we do our operations. I'm going to go through the guiding, what they call the best practices from this guide from 2003, and talk about really how we adjusted for that. Because of the pandemic, when we went to virtual boards, things that worked, things that didn't work. I welcome all comments, questions. If you think it will work in your county, let me know. If you've tried it and it didn't work, I want to know that as well. So please feel free, like I said, just to unmute and ask any questions or make any comments that you would like. So just real quick, why a diversionary program? It's long been widely accepted that youthful offenders should not be branded as convicted criminals or made to labor under the lasting social and economic disabilities that go with that label. So basically, why do we do a diversionary program? Because it works out better for the juvenile to have a program where we can address antisocial behavior and things that would be considered criminal under the criminal code for juveniles who might just need a little bit more help, right? We don't want to brand them. We don't want to put them through the system. We don't want them to feel as if, you know, they did this one thing as a juvenile, now it's going to carry with them for the rest of their life. We want to be able to give some guidance and corrective behavior without actually going through that process. All states and federal government provides special courts and special procedures for dealing with juveniles that are charged with delinquency. Here in the state of New Jersey, all delinquency charges with juveniles